good? Okay, hello, welcome everybody to the April 26, 2023 Town of Chestertown Board Meeting. Linda, would you please do the roll call?
Supervisor Valentine,
Here.
Councilman Arzasano,
Here.
Councilman Courtney,
Here.
Councilman Holdridge,
Here.
Councilwoman Smith.
Here.
Okay, everybody please rise for the pledge.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Playing musical chairs tonight? In the valley, huh?
Okay, first item on the agenda for this evening is public hearing on local law number 1 firefighter exemptions. Would somebody like to make a motion to open the public hearing, please?
I'll make the motion to open the public hearing for the firefighter exemptions.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the proposed local law, volunteer firefighter and volunteer ambulance workers exemption? Anybody on the list?
I don't think so. I think that's for the general meeting.
Okay. Anybody want to speak at a public hearing?
I'm out of line.
Anybody at home? Michelle? Want to speak on it? So the intent of the town is to, grant the maximum exemption possible to our volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers as part of our local law. So, no comments, then we'll close the,
You do have written comments.
we have some written.
You do have from the county, they have no concern, and the fire district is
Okay.
supporting it.
Okay. So we have from Orange County Department of Planning, under General Municipal Law 239. Comments. The department has received the above referenced local law and found no evidence that significant intermunicipal or countywide impacts would result from its approval. We have no advisory comments regarding this project. From the county, from the Chester Fire District. Dear Supervisor, members of the board, on December 9th, 2022, Governor Kathy Hochul signed legislation that creates an opt-in for all local governments to provide 10% property tax exemption to volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers. The law took effect immediately, can be implemented as of that date. Real property tax law allows for an exemption of 10% of the assessed value. The primary residence of volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers. The property must be the primary residence of and owned by the volunteer. The law allows each entity of local government, county legislator, city council, school board, town board, village board, board of fire commissioners to adopt a local law or pass a resolution opting into the exemption. As the implementation of this exemption for volunteers is not automatic, on behalf of the members of the Chester Fire District, we request adoption of a local law or resolution to provide this exemption to local district volunteers. Members of the Chester Fire District are solely volunteers, and dedicated women and men of the district spend hundreds of uncompensated hours preparing for emergencies that we hope will not arise. The requisite training, in addition to answered alarms, takes members away from their families and make recruitment difficult. This exemption will help in retention and should also draw new members into our ranks. On behalf of the volunteer members of the Chester Fire District, we request that you immediately consider adoption of a 10% exemption for volunteers who have been members of the Chester Fire District for at least 2 years. Copy of the resolution passed by Fire District is enclosed. Okay, that's all our correspondence on that. Okay, so there are no other comments. So I guess we motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, do we have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, do we want to act on this local law?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, we're in favor of it, and it's,
I figured one of you guys would jump for that.
I
Way.
would like to, but Linda, we don't have to wait another meeting? No? Well, with that, then I would like to motion to adopt the local law.
Okay,
I'll second it.
second. Okay, All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers.
Mm-hmm.
We do appreciate you. Okay. Where'd my agenda go?
You're welcome.
Notes all over. All right, so moving right along, and now we're at public comment. Do we have anybody on that public comment list? Tom? Okay. Tom, step right up.
Thank you. Okay, Tom Becker, 163 Lehigh Avenue, Chester, New York. So I'm part of the Chester Cemetery Board, and I just want to bring some information to everybody. Is this microphone on, Michelle? Okay, thank you. Once again, the Chester Cemetery Association will be sponsoring their annual sponsor a flag fundraiser on Memorial Day weekend. Last year, over 500 flags were placed along Main Street and other village streets in memory of and in honor of or in compliments of an individual. Traditionally, this is the weekend of the Kiwanis 5K race and beautifies our roadways for the race and the weekend. Funds raised are used to support the maintenance of the Chester Cemetery. Sponsorship is only $5 per flag. Tags will be placed on flags for your honoree. If you would like to sponsor a flag, please contact Betty Ann Riley at 845-742-4077. Rosemary at 845-469-6427. Fred at 845-469-4374. And myself, Tom, at 845-551-3226. For my information, you can also send me text because we have to gather information from people such as their the person they want to sponsor this. And when the fees are paid, they'll go to, I'll give them information on who to send those fees also. So I'll leave this for Linda.
Okay.
Post that on the town website. Thank you very much. Second note here, just want to give the board some information. Years ago, for the Fieldcrest Water District, the town and the village got into a water agreement. And as part of that water agreement, one of the parts of that was for the town of Chester to acquire or come up with another source of water for the village. I guess that might be something you're looking at now with the property over by the school, which is probably going to be a positive thing. It'll help the village out, it'll help the town finalize the agreement, and it'll also benefit the school by, if the water quality and the amount is satisfactory, it could benefit them. And if that water is put into a village main, it could reduce the the THMs and HM5s that they have issues with right now at the school. So definitely a positive thing if that could take place. I'm not sure anything's happened with that yet, what the testing will be done.
I've been having negotiations with the school on water, and
Yeah.
we had offered to tie the school into the Surrey Meadows Water District.
Yeah.
We had ample supply there, but the school would still be deemed a water operator, regardless of where their source is from.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there are some other questions, and the school is actually, has the ball on that right now. They have to decide what they want to do because they still need to do treatment that's rather expensive,
Yeah.
regardless of where they get the water from.
Yeah, I thought this, back in the day when that took place, that the residents of Surrey Meadows were not in favor of that. As far as serving the school water, because they were concerned during drought years that they would have further restrictions.
Well, we've had the town engineer work up water numbers on it and the demand from the school and all that. So, and that could be another option for alleviating the Fieldcrest district if we provided water to the school that would easily supplement whatever we're drawing from the village. So there's a lot of caveats we could work with on that, but
Yeah, it's still, they're different, there's still different agreements. There's an agreement with the school, with the village, and an agreement with the town.
Yep. Yep.
Another thing I'd like to bring up, at the last meeting, it was a little disturbing to me. I have nothing against not-for-profit organizations or, people that volunteer their time and efforts to raise funds, but the town gave the use of this plaque, you know, you're basically free to three different, you know, not three different organizations, but for three different venue times. It was disturbing to me because back in 2021, when I was on the board, a young gentleman, Jacob Mott, came before this board, and he requested, you know, he wanted the use of the outside property to do a fundraiser, to raise money for, at the time, it was something to do with children, whether it was cancer thing or something, I'm not sure exactly what it was. But we denied him, and the idea behind it was we didn't want to open the door to have to give this venue away for free. So it's kind of disturbing what's changed, you know, is one venue, you know, one thing more noble than another, you know, cause-wise. You know, we gave it away 3 times here. This was a young gentleman that came before the board, and he was denied. So I'm not sure what policy changed in the last 2 years.
I don't think any policy has changed on that. I think that perhaps the fact that the success of the PAC at this point maybe has like, it seems like maybe the board feels like more fair. And in hindsight, it's probably a poor decision not to help the young man out at the time, but you know, you were on the board too at the time, so.
But that was our attitude. You
Yeah.
know, it was, you know, we don't want to start a process
So,
of giving it away free.
But when the
because that
board,
means-
when this board bought the PAC, when we decided to buy that PAC in 2019, 2019, you know, part of what we said when we bought it was it would be to help, you know, foster like arts and entertainment and serve the community. So I think maybe as part of our mission statement, maybe, you know, our attitude may have changed along the way.
I just like that, you know, the board to consider, you know, just be careful that it doesn't become a gifting thing either. You know, I know there's stuff in our code and legally you can't really gift things.
So that's why we try
People
to,
can't
we
gift
try to
to
keep,
us,
you know,
we can't gift to other people.
so we try to keep it to not-for-profits. That's the premise, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, any other public comments in the room? Here in the room, how about at home?
I have nothing.
Okay, we don't have anything else on that. Okay. Public comment is over. Okay, so moving right along, the minutes of 4/12/23.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes of 4/12/23.
Okay, before we do that, I just wanted, I think last time at the meeting, Bob Courtney didn't approve the bills because he hadn't reviewed them yet, and I think it said in there that he did approve.
Yeah, I did approve them. I was in the next day.
Oh, no, but at the meeting, you,
Yeah, I hadn't looked over, I hadn't approved.
no, I'm just saying
Oh,
that
he abstained.
he abstained, so I just, it should be in the minutes, that
Oh,
he
okay.
abstained that night, yeah, so,
Double
yeah,
check.
okay. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the only thing I noticed. I don't want it miss,
Yep,
Done.
double check that.
so,
That would be a change. That's-
okay, so yeah,
So
so
noted.
if we could do a pending, if, you know, approve them as long as the correction is needed or
It
whatever.
would be corrected in this
Yeah. Okay.
meeting minutes.
So I'll accept the minutes of 4/12/23 with the change of Bob Courtney's abstaining from the minutes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, local law number 3, I guess we call this, huh? Okay, so we have local law number 3, which corrects our, couple of our streets where we have no parking signs that need to be brought into the code. This amendment to replace.
Actually, expansion, so no parking.
What's that?
Actually, expansion.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, local law to update and amend chapter 87 article of town code, the Chester authorized property tax exemption. Oh, that's wrong one. What am I doing here? Sorry about that. Okay, local law to update and amend chapter 92, town code, town of Chester, to add additional no parking zones. Glenmere Road, east side, anytime from State Route 94 to Green Drive, and then Green Drive, northwest side, anytime for 650 feet from Glenmere Road. So I'd like to make a motion to I guess we're presenting this,
You're
right?
introducing.
Introduce this local law.
I believe at the last meeting, Bob, you mentioned Pond Road. That,
Pond Road.
yeah, because of the dog park.
Oh, yeah, we were gonna make no
That-
parking
we're
there.
Parking on
going
the
to
street.
add
Right.
that.
Okay, well, we have to put sign, yeah, we don't have signs there. Okay. So would somebody like to,
Introduce this and with an amendment to include,
On
what side is that?
the right side. The dog park side. I don't know if you wanna go left and
What
right.
side is it? East side? East side.
Okay,
East side.
So they
of
will be able to park on the west side?
Pond Road. What's that?
That's a good point.
They'll be able to park on the other side of the road?
well, if they want to park in the ditch, sure.
Yeah. I don't know, I was just making sure, you know?
Road,
No toll service.
I think the dog park is about 200 feet long, right?
it's 170 feet plus
Yeah,
the
plus
parking lot. Yeah,
So,
200 feet.
so we'll go for a distance of 250 feet. That'll
There you
cover
go.
everything.
Yeah.
Anytime.
From Kings Highway.
Yep. Okay.
So I'll make the motion to
Introduce.
introduce local law number 3 with the parking changes for Glenmere Road, Green Drive, and Pond Road.
Okay, second.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public hearing,
Now we set a public hearing.
second meeting in May.
That would be the 24th.
Okay, May 24th, public hearing. Somebody make a motion?
I'll make the motion have a public hearing on May 24th for the introduction of the no parking areas.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay. Local law 284, you have taken up for that? Okay. Okay, every year, this is, we have to pass this for our road improvements. So agreement between the town superintendent of the town of Chester, Orange County, New York, and the undersigned members of the town board pursuant to the provision of section 284 of highway law, we agree the money levied and collected in the town for repair and improvement of highways and received from state aid for the repair and improvement of highways shall be expended as follows. I'm not going to read this whole list because it's a lengthy list. We have a rather robust budget for highways this year. But as per the adopted town budget, these are the numbers that were provided by highway. And we need to make a motion to execute the highway law 284.
I'll make the motion to execute the local highway law number 284.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Pass that sign, no one's putting it back. Okay, moving right along on the list, we have New York Solar MS4 paperwork. We need a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the MS4 Swift acceptance form.
I'll make the motion
This
for,
is for Great Court Road Solar.
oh, okay. I'll make the motion for the supervisor to sign the MS4 for the solar on Great Court Road.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. It's a stamp.
All copies.
Okay,
Do we need-
okay. We need another one. Just give me a second. Okay, next on the list, we have a water, Richard Logathetis in the town of Chester Sugarloaf Water District water easement. Tom actually helped out with putting this together. We had a water main that was installed some 20 years ago, I would say, probably, right? At least. And there was no easement for it. And Richard, very helpful in helping us put together this easement so that the water main could have access in the future, and all the regular things that go along with the water main. It's on private property. So we need a motion to authorize, what are we going to authorize? The acceptance of the easement, Scott, or?
Authorizing your
I see.
execute it,
Okay.
and we will move to report.
Okay. So a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the documents pertaining to the easement for recording.
I'll make the motion for the supervisor to sign the documents for the Sugarloaf water easement for recording.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. What's that? Oh, okay. There's a few of them? Okay. Gotcha.
The ones that sign, I'll take it to report. We need that to be also.
Okay, so we have now from the chief, Hamchester PD. I'm requesting permission to move part-time police officer Nicholas Contino into a vacant full-time police officer position included in the budget. Officer Contino has been part-time officer here since January 23 and recently completed his probationary period as a full-time officer with the town of Mount Hope, making him eligible for transfer. His transfer eligibility has been confirmed with Orange County Human Resources. As you're aware, he has been a Chester resident for most of his life and a police officer in the county for over 3 years. We have been pleased with his performance over the past 3 months and feel he would be a great asset to the department. This full-time position will offset overtime costs by filling many of the vacant shifts created by assignment of officers to the Chester Academy and Elementary, which is partially reimbursed by the school district. If you have any questions, please let me know. He will be able to start 2 weeks after he's approved. Okay, so would somebody like to make a motion to move Officer Contino from part-time to full-time?
I'll make the motion to move Officer Contino from part-time to full-time police officer.
And we can make the effective date 2 weeks from tomorrow, let's say.
2 weeks start after he is approved, so yeah,
Okay.
2 weeks.
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we have a resignation at the PD. Dear supervisor and board members, I've attached a resignation letter from part-time police clerk Desiree Petraro, effective Thursday, April 27th. She has accepted a full-time position with the County of Orange. Desiree has been a valuable employee of our department for over 10 years and will be missed. I respectfully request permission to post for candidates to fill the position, as she is one of only 2 part-time clerks in the department, and her absence will be noticeable to our operations. Thank you. I have the letter from Desiree here. Please accept this letter as my formal resignation from position as police clerk for the town of Chester, effective 2 weeks from today's date, April 13th. I appreciate you providing me the opportunity to work for you and this department as a collective whole. I'm glad I was able to learn and develop all that I did in the last 10 years. Thank you. I will help as much as I can during the transition period. I wish you and the department the very best in the future. Stay safe and God bless. Desiree Petraro. Okay, so we need a motion to accept Desiree's resignation.
I'll make the motion to accept Desiree Petraro's resignation.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. And now we need a motion to post for a vacant part-time clerk for the PD.
I'll make the motion to post for a part-time PD clerk.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, so while we're on employee stuff, I got late today from Walt on the, we have many submissions for the 2 positions we posted. One was for a full-time park and rec person, and one was for a part-time PAC PAC employee. So the first one I have, I'll use, this one is, this is for the Parks Department, full-time position. We have a gentleman by the name of Matthew Kenny. Walt has spoken with him and is very happy with his resume and his, what he's found out about him. He works right now for the Department of Public Works in Harriman. He does all of the regular things: brush, trees, broken roads, basins, streets, sewers, landscaping, all the regular stuff. Prior to that, he was a laborer, handyman, painting, power washing, repairs, stuff like that. Carpenter before that. So he's got a lot of things that would lend to the position that we're offering. And he has municipal experience. So Walt is requesting that we hire Matthew Kenny for the full-time spot at $19 per hour. And pleasure of the board.
I'll make the motion.
It would be effective. That's a good question. I don't have on here exact date.
Did he want
I
immediately?
would assume he needs, yeah, he wants immediately, so I would assume 2 weeks. We'd have to give him 2 weeks.
Give him, yeah,
Notice,
all
so
right.
let's say we could, let's make the motion, 2 weeks.
I'll make the motion to hire Matthew Kenny for the position at the Parks Department for 2 weeks from now.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This will be a great deal of help in the parks.
Yes.
The extra hand is going to be big time, so.
Yeah.
Okay, second one I have now is for the Performing Arts Center. This is a budgeted position, part-time. We have a gentleman named Robert Vincent Smith, 36 Cardinal Lane, Sugarloaf, lives in Sugarloaf. He has carpentry and production experience, 1980 through present. He featured roles in off-Broadway plays and music. He's a stage set carpenter, I guess, basically. I can go on the whole list here. Substitute teacher in Warwick Schools, substitute teacher in the theater and music at St. Anne's School, consulting teacher, New York City Public Repertoire. He also had worked at the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center facility from 2012 to 2016. Facility and production staff. So I think that was after your time, right, Richard? So,
Yeah, it was just after that, I think.
yeah, so when he must have worked for the other people that were there. Yeah. But he has a whole list here, and he's available, and he would love to work at the theater. He knows the building really well, and Walter seems to be very happy with his credentials and, what he has to offer. So this position would be to, be there to hopefully cut back on some of our overtime at the theater, because it's, the overtime gets a little steep because we have a lot of shows booked, and at this time it's really needed. So the budgeted salary for this would be $25 an hour part-time. So would somebody like to make a motion to hire?
I'd like to make the motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Just wanted to make known that that is no relation to me.
Okay.
Aye.
Noted, duly noted.
Duly noted, no relation.
Is that also 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Let's do 2 weeks, yep. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, we're on employees. Let's do the camp hires while we're here. Okay, so camp is brought back to life here recently. We were having some challenges, but it looks like everything is working out. So miracles do happen. From Michelle, Supervisor Valentine at Town Board, I have qualified applicants for Summer Camp 2023 to be held at Chester Common June 26th through 23rd and and August 4th, through August 4th, 2023. I would like the permission to hire the following people. We have Christopher Longo, Camp Director. I'm going to give you this list. I know you don't. Oh, you have it here. She's got the rates on here. So $28 an hour for the Camp Director. Cherie Van de Bogart, Health Director, $25 an hour. Kayla Palmer, Assistant Director, $21 an hour. Xavier Espelay, Counselor, $16. Ava Perez, Counselor, $16. Michaela Jeffers, $16, Counselor. Alexandra Cox, Counselor, $16. And Daniel Mosio, Counselor, $16 an hour. We are expecting a few more counselor applications to come in, and we'll forward names to the board as soon as they are reviewed. Of course, these are all pending background checks and all the regular stuff too. So would somebody like to make a motion to hire the staff for the camp?
I'll make the motion to hire the staff for the summer camp.
Seconded.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. This is budgeted, the camp stuff, so it's all in the budget.
Go.
Okay, so now we have adopt a fee for New York State domestic relations from the town clerk. Effective March 23rd, 2023, New York State passed an amendment to the domestic relations law allowing for a one-day marriage officiant license. This law requires town clerks to issue these licenses. The local fee of $25 has been set. At this time, I request the town board adopt a fee of $25 for the issuance of one-day marriage officiant license. Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
What does it mean?
So if somebody, like, I guess, pastor
You
from
wanna
the Universal
marry
Church, right? Yeah,
anyone.
Anybody, oh,
You
anybody.
can marry Cindy and Gary or whomever,
Uh-huh. Oh, so anybody can.
but,
do it.
right, but they need a license
Oh,
to
okay.
do so. But it would have to be, it's on a one case basis, so it would have to be for that specific couple. The license itself is issued for that person to marry a specific
Specific person.
couple.
It's a one-time deal.
Yeah.
One shot deal.
And they would have to get the license following the license issued to the couple to get married. So it's only good for one time. It's a single use.
It's easier to keep track.
But
Who
it's-
to blame.
It says, you know. it is
Well, what other kind of license is there? A marriage license?
No, this
No,
is,
This is for the
this is
person
an
and
officiant's
marriage.
license.
So,
Okay.
so somebody
So-
can be
There we go.
authorized to
Marry
marry somebody.
somebody one time. Okay,
One time.
now I got
Okay.
it.
It's the
Yep.
officiant.
Okay.
All right, so would somebody like to make a motion to adopt the fee, $25?
I'll make the motion to adopt the fee for the one-time what they call it? Officiant
Bless you.
person for license for a domestic relations
Okay,
of $25.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I'm gonna throw in the Walton Lake Sequer first right here before we go into the resolutions here. So we have long form EAF resolution of lead agency and negative declaration for Walton Lake Water District Well and Pump House. So we need three separate motions here. Two motions, right? So we need a motion to declare Town of Chester lead agency for the Walton Lake Water District Well and Pump House.
I'll make the motion that Chester be the lead agency for the Walton, is it Walton Lake?
Yep.
Walton Lake Pump House
And well,
well.
okay. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. We also need a motion for a negative declaration in regards to the Walton Lake Water District Well and Pump House.
I'll make the motion to have the negative declaration for the Walton Lake Well and Pump House.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. This is a type 2 action because it's a replacement in kind. So that's,
You need a resolution for you to sign it, or?
the resolution for the assignment. Okay, library tax resolution. Brandon, you're persistent on this. You have to get a lot of credit, man. I would give up.
I would have passed
Never.
it along.
Do you want me to explain it all?
Yeah, you want to read
Yeah,
it? Sure,
read
go
it.
ahead.
So, so this is a resolution in support of a Senate and Assembly bill that would basically start the process of a study into our statewide library tax situation. I'll read it. Whereas the town of Chester recognizes that some of its residents reside in overlapping library districts within the town of Chester and the Warwick School District, and whereas those residents are taxed in both library districts, and whereas the town of Chester has received reports of those residents being denied library cards at the Warwick Library, and whereas we have been told that this occurrence is a statewide issue that could be addressed by State Senate Bill S3508A and Assembly Bill A4530. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the town of Chester completely supports the passage of these bills and implores the governor of New York to sign it into law at the earliest possible date. This has been an ongoing issue, and hopefully the legislator will pass these bills again, because they have done it in the past, including last year's legislative session, and has been vetoed by Governor Cuomo and Governor Hochul each time it made it to their desks, with the excuse that there'd be too much of a hardship for the Department of Taxation and Finance, which again is ridiculous. So yeah, and I think most people will be happy with the support from the town board on this. With that being said, I'd like to motion to have this resolution passed.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, we also have one here, another one for the speed limit that you would ask for.
Yes.
So this was a resolution to inquire of the Orange County Superintendent of Highways, New York State Department of Transportation, to review and reduce the speed limit on Route 94 in the town of Chester. This is from what, there's a specific section.
It's the
Okay, for the town board, town of Chester received complaints of safety concerns with respect to the speed limit on State Route 94 from the village of Chester line to the town of Blooming Grove line in the town of Chester, requesting the speed limit be reviewed with a traffic study. And whereas based on the residential development in that vicinity, there has been an increase of traffic at high rates of speed in populated residential area. And whereas the town board believes that a speed limit reduction in this area could be in the best interest of the town of Chester, if a traffic study were to show increased high-intensity speeds that may be dangerous to pedestrians and other vehicles. Now be it resolved, Town of Board Chester submit the request to Orange County Superintendent of Highways and New York State Department of Transportation to evaluate this area in the State Route 94, the Town of Chester, for a speed limit reduction for the safety of the residents of the Town of Chester. Okay, does somebody like to make a motion to send this resolution off?
motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It doesn't say what reduction you want,
Well, so
or are they just gonna tell us?
yeah, Linda, I purposely worded the document to say, in the event that they find that a speed reduction could be useful, then they can determine and
What it would be
you know.
themselves.
yeah.
Okay.
But if they find that it's not useful, then, I think we can trust their word.
Okay.
Okay, so I know we had brought up in a discussion at the last meeting, comp plan committee discussion. I know, Brandon, you have put out a list. I didn't copy that email, actually. I didn't bring it out with me, but you had a list of people who were interested in
Yeah.
in that comp plan committee.
Yeah, Councilman Courtney and I
Yep.
had been working on a list, but then I double checked with Scott to make sure that we were going by the process correctly, and I'm just pulling it up here.
Yeah, I think we should probably, maybe even, we should put a notice out to that effect.
Right.
We're looking to solicit people.
Just to give everybody a chance.
Yep.
So Scott, should I motion for a notice to be sent out for members of interested? Okay. Yeah. So I would like to motion to send out a notice to the public to see if anybody's interested in joining the comp planning committee. That's what we're calling it, right? The planning committee. Yeah,
I'll
that's
second it.
Okay, second, all in favor?
aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we'll put that out and see if we have some more people.
Right.
You had some good people on there already, so Richard sat in on it for all the other ones we had done. You were very active with us, Richard. We appreciate that. Okay, I have a couple of other things on here that I don't have. Early last week, I guess it was, I spoke to David Wenger, who's a member of the Little League board, and with the terrible events that have happened in the Little League community with the loss of Dan Mooney, I think the consensus is, and I got an email from Brandon or a call from Brandon today, and other people have voiced their opinion on dedicating something at Little League to Dan Mooney, because he was very influential and loved by the community. And we have a new field there, the T-ball field, and I guess the consensus is that we offer to name the T-ball field after Dan Mooney Jr., I guess, right? Yep. And wondering if somebody at the board would like to make a motion to that effect.
Motion.
I don't have anything to read about Dan Mooney right now. David was going to get something to me, but we'll have something to read at the next meeting. But if
Okay.
we can pass. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. We'll get together with the Little League, and I'll speak to Walt. Maybe we can have a nice plaque made up and have a little ceremony out there to dedicate the field. That would be nice. I'm sure his family would truly appreciate it. It's a great loss for Chester. Okay, I have a little update on Davidson Drive. I spoke with the owner of Pomegranate Monday. He actually called me, and I guess him and the Davidson Drive property owner, I guess they're very close to coming to an agreement to use Davidson Drive for the access for both parcels for the commercial buildings over there off Lake Station. So he had just asked me a few questions, bonding questions and different things about, how the town would handle a couple of things. Al Fusco did answer most of the questions for me, and I responded to him. So basically, Davidson Drive would still stay a private road, but they would grant an easement to, what's that? What's the other name of the other project's called?
No,
There's Pomegranate. Pomegranate owns the road, and they're going to grant an easement to the Davidson Drive LLC, who's going to build the other warehouse.
right.
And we'll work out the details with the planning board, with Don, as far as how it will be structured. The caveat was that Pomegranate didn't want their job to be held up while waiting for the other job to have any kind of approvals or anything like that. So I told them we would work that out with the planning board and come up with some details. The town engineer can be involved in that. And hopefully this thing can be settled up, and it would be a big help to the people who live off Lake Station, because I know it's not a good situation there with the trucks and all that. So that's just an update for everybody at home, if you're listening, that we're very close to rectifying the Davidson Drive access issue. I have another topic. Now, I know everybody knows that the Sugarloaf Mountain subdivision that was before our planning board had recently passed, and they're subdividing the property into 3 specific lots. You're gonna have the Sugarloaf Mountain parcel, which is the big giant parcel. And then you're gonna have the house with the Palmer's farmhouse on 10 acres on LaRue Road, where the big barn is. And then across the street from the farmhouse and the barn, there's another 10-acre parcel that has 2 ponds on it. So I have been speaking with the land trust probably since January or so about the 10-acre parcel on LaRue Road that's vacant, that doesn't have any buildings on it, with the ponds. And they are very eager to make a deal with Chester to sell that to Chester for open space. It would be a great win for Chester because the 10 acres surrounded by more parkland property. All the property around it is going to be parkland. And it would be a great place for Chester to have its own like access point, the trailhead. And so we'll tie it into Goose Pond, and they'll have a trail coming right past the property that we would possibly get, and it would cross and go up the mountain. It would just be a big connection. And Chester would have a couple of ponds. There's a fish pond for some kids to fish in that we don't really have in Chester, and I think it'd be a big win. I'm waiting for them to receive their appraisal back from the bank that's doing the work for them, but the price of the property is going to be somewhere, from what they tell me, between $250,000 and $300,000.
Now, is this going to be open space or parkland?
That's to be discussed. I don't know how we would take that. How would we take a piece of property like that if we buy it, Scott?
How would you take it?
Yeah, like it would just be town property, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it could be, we could use it for other things
Use
if
it
we
for other
wanted
things,
to.
yeah, but it would be a purchase, and I guess that would be subject to permissive referendum, right?
Right.
If we were to motion to purchase a piece of property from the land trust.
There's no restriction on it.
No, there's no restrictions on it. It's just a vacant 10-acre piece of property. So, I mean, we're not gonna make any motions on that tonight, like, we have to get the numbers and get the details together, but I want to introduce this to the board tonight, so they have something to think about.
Where would we,
It's got a concrete spillway, yeah. There's no real, I don't think there's any real issues with it.
where would we take the money from?
What's that?
Where would we take the money
The money
from?
would have to come from reserve funds.
Reserve funds, okay.
It could come from reserve funds. This board could allocate, they could also allocate some ARPA money towards it if we wanted to. That's something we can talk about down the line. But, you know, buying parkland would definitely probably fall under the ARPA guidelines. But I think it'd be a big win for Chester considering what we paid for the last.
Could we
the
stop-
last piece of property we bought.
Could we stock, could we stock the ponds?
I think the Palmers have already stocked them, from what I hear. So, yeah, it's a beautiful piece of property, and it's one of the main targets in our preservation plan, that piece of property. So I think it would be fulfilling the vision that we had, you know, back in 17 when we were doing the reservation plan. And it's also listed in our comp plan. So just food for thought for the board. So as soon as I get the details from the land trust, we can talk about it again and come up with a plan on how we want to do it, if we want to execute it or what. Okay?
Okay,
How fast would we be able to actually acquire the property once we motion
So they're
to?
looking to close on the whole big project, I believe in July. So they're looking for a buyer for the farmhouse parcel as well.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they'll probably actively list that once they get the appraisals back. Because that, you know, that's going to offset the purchase price of the mountain, the 2 parcels that they sell off. So they would like to try to structure where they sell both parcels and then they close with the Palmers for the whole parcel and then close with like us and another person at the same time. So everything's done like one day
Hmm.
transaction.
Okay.
So,
Can you do that if you need a place?
well, that's why we need to pass it at the next meeting because we need 30 days. Somebody would have to
bring a petition, right? So we'd have to do it, and hopefully nobody would say in 30 days that they don't want to spend the money. So,
You need to have terms.
Yeah, but it doesn't, well,
You need to have terms, right?
yeah, I have to have the term, so I can't do anything till I have it, so hopefully by the next meeting. we'll have it.
yeah, but if they're separate parcels, it's not like they have to have them all closed on one day.
No, they don't
It
have
just
to. It's
sounds
easier.
good. It's easier. Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is,
yep.
but
So I'm just giving everybody all the details so everybody knows exactly what's transpiring. That's all. So that's all of my little hot topics I got on my list here.
Hey, Bob, it was, how about the budget modification?
Oh, the budget, I don't have to do that.
Oh, you know.
We reclassified the expenditure on the, okay, so what are we up to now? We're up to any other business? Anybody have any other business here we have to act on?
something to act on.
Yeah, I'm just give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to. I also wanted to. Give me a second.
What's that? I didn't, it was, we reallocated a line item. It's in the same budget, so.
Right. So the one thing that I wanted to see if the board can act on tonight, and I'm sorry, I don't believe I emailed ahead of time, or I think I didn't really get to it until after the agenda went out, was I was speaking to Scott about the ward system, and we had Larry who wanted clarification on whether or not we are doing it correctly, and I kind of went on a wild goose chase between the Department of State and the New York State Board of Elections, who can't agree on whether or not the ward should be drawn up via population or voters. Everybody that I've spoken to, except for one person in the Department of State, believes it should be done via population. But just to make sure that everything is on the up and up while we're doing this process with the county planning department, I wanted to see if we can ask, if we can motion to have Scott formally ask the New York State Attorney General for an opinion on the subject, just to make sure. I'm like 99.9% sure that she will come back and say that it's population, and the law that the Department of State was referencing is before multiple Supreme Court cases were ruled on it. But again, just to make sure, I would like to just formally ask for an opinion. How does the rest of the board feel?
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
They probably don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. So I motion to have Scott formally ask the Attorney General for an opinion on the creation of a ward system.
Will they actually answer that question, Scott?
Yeah, I spoke
It
to.
seems like when I call the state for different things, they never want to give you an opinion.
Well, I spoke to the Attorney General's office, and they said that we can ask for opinions.
Okay.
We just need to submit a formal thing, and I have a link to that, so I can send that to you, Scott, for the instructions on how to do that.
All right, we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay. Do you have any education requests?
Getting the end of school year, yeah.
Okay. We don't need an executive session. No need for that. I do have bi-weekly report from Fusco Engineering here. Greens at Chester, SWIP systems are working properly. They need to plan work on Halm Street and West Street to eliminate groundwater, which I think that they've got a plan on that now. If I read the email correctly today. Capelli Sports, Primo, SWIP is working properly. Capelli ordered the landscaping to begin. Okay, so we'll anxiously await that. The PAC water system is preparing to go to bid. That's for the service line for the building to tie the water in. Walton Lake well, proposals for design services are being prepared. The first step is to clean up the water and develop the well. Secret was submitted to the board. We did that tonight. Sugarloaf Water System met with the DEC to prepare a wetland survey so we can start to develop the well. Silt fence and stabilization is required. Local law secret has been submitted to the board. The Sugarloaf Water System, we got, because we drilled a well, they gave us a hard time because we were too close to the wetlands, although the well was already there and we just drilled one right next to it. So they gave us a hard time about that, and buffers and danger species, everything you could think of. But nothing really changed, but Al done a pretty good job of mitigating the complaint. He met them out there and it seems like it's all good now. We don't need more reports, do we? No reports, right? I do have some info here. We have the summer camp info, Town of Chester Summer Camp, entering grades 1 through 5 in September 2023. Registration will be online only, beginning Friday, April 28th, 2023, ending May 26th, 2023. www.chesterrecreation.com. Camp will be held at the Chester Commons, 81 LaRue Road. Weekly trips included in the registration. No on-site camp on trip days. Program will run for 6 weeks, 6/26, 7/3, 7/10, 7/17, 7/24, 7/31. No camp on 7/4/2023 and a half day on 8/4/2023. Registration is for weekly sessions, $200 per week per camper for residents, $250 a week for non-residents after May 11th, 2023. Vaccination record must be received within 5 days of registration. Payment information online. Spaces limited. Do not delay. Questions, email m-daschler@thetownofchester.org. This is a good one. Support our PBA. Town of Chester Police Department PBA golf outing. Monday, July 31st, 2023. Registration 9 a.m. Start time 10. Where Otterkill Country Club, 100 Otter Road, Campbell Hall, New York, 10916. Cost $175 per person. Includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Cash prizes, closest to the pin, longest drive, and a putting contest. 50-50 prize, gift raffles, and $10,000 prize for a hole-in-one. Anybody's ambitious, thinks they could pull that off, they'd be doing okay. So, for information, contact Police Officer Donato at 347-835-3622, or email cdonato@thetownofchester.org. Please, everybody, come out and support our PBA. I have something here from Office for the Aging. Dear Supervisor Valentine, the anniversary of the Older Americans Act is celebrated each May. To add to the festivities, we are also celebrating the 50th anniversary of the nutrition program. This critical program addresses food insecurity and malnutrition by providing a delicious, nutritionally balanced daily meal. In addition to the meal, this program focuses on social isolation, loneliness, and seclusion. This is the perfect opportunity to highlight the importance of the Office of the Aging Senior Dining Program. We invite you to participate in the 14th annual Big Wheels Deliver Meals. It's also a great time to meet and greet some of the older adults living in your community. Please join us and other Big Wheels as we make our rounds throughout the community on Wednesday, May 10th at 10:30 a.m. You will be paired together with one of your volunteers, and you may have plenty of opportunity to observe firsthand the benefits of this invaluable program. For many older adults, this lunch program enables them to remain living independently in their home. We look forward to you joining us. Please contact Diana Smith at 845-615-3719 or ddsmith@orangecountygov.com. to register by Wednesday, May 3rd. Big Wheels Deliver Meals is a great way to reach out to your older adults and let them know how important they are in your community. We'll put this flyer up on the webpage, I guess, probably too, right?
It's for you guys.
Oh, okay, it's just for us, okay.
Right.
What else you have on there? Any more?
Just, you know.
Oh, we have Transco. Yeah, Transco is moving right along. 100% of the old structures and wire are removed. 100% of the new foundations are in. 100% of the new structures are erected. I guess they still have to pull some wire, but things are wrapping up pretty good. So things will be a lot less.
We talked about comments.
We talked about that. Okay. No other announcements or anything like that from you? No? Okay, so we're up to town board comments. Tony, we'll start down there with you.
Yeah, sure. We've got the Sugarloaf is having their festival May 6th and 7th, Spring Fest.
Yes,
Come on down.
yep, and the Gears and Glam is actually on with that too.
Right.
At the PAC, which is gonna be a nice event.
Should be pretty.
Yeah, that's great because the BOCES students will come out and show off some of their handiwork.
Right.
So, Bob, what do you have?
Just one thing, I'm meeting with the chief next week to start going through our social media policy. So I know Brandon, you had talked about it. I know I had mentioned it. So we're gonna meet with him first and start to.
Yeah, he sent us a pretty nice draft.
Yeah.
and, It's been reviewed, so I'm sure it is time for that.
And then the only other thing I did go to last night, and it's, I was pretty moved by it, to be honest with you, the crime victims vigil up in the city of Middletown last night. The Bruno Hoff was there also supporting them. It's really, it's something that, kind of puts things in perspective when you're, God forbid you become a victim of crime, but how many other people it affects. So we should make sure we keep those folks in our prayers, and anyone ever gets a chance to go to that. It's a very moving event. It really is, kind of puts things in perspective.
Okay, Cindy, what do you have?
The dog park is pretty much, the basics are done. The grass is starting to grow. But I have been speaking with Debbie over at TLC Grooming about the accessories that were asked about, to put there. And she kind of shied away from it, saying that they're pretty costly and she doesn't recommend it for the dog park at this time. Maybe to
Take a
see,
fire hydrant and put it in there?
well, maybe a fire hydrant, but she said that they become accident prone and, maybe something of a tunnel, but as far as any obstacles to jump over or anything, she doesn't recommend it at this time. Also, the pickleball courts were started 2 weeks ago, and I think maybe a little bit premature because of the warm weather that we did get, because he needs a certain amount of temperature, degrees to continue to work. So it is, still, and I'm in touch with the person in charge that we contracted. So, it will be moving forward.
And I see you're talking with the gentleman, the
Joe.
neighbor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was going to discuss a couple things with them Friday. We were going to meet. I don't know. The thing that kind of puts it out of perspective from what I see is that he's looked at pickleball courts in different areas, which is mostly in towards California, and out that way. But there's at least 4, 5, 6 courts being utilized all the time. And we're just putting in 2 courts. And I've played there this past fall quite a bit when we had the temporary nets. And there was only 4 of us, playing, just one game. So, that kind of.
maybe you can meet with him and see if we can do something to mitigate, maybe if we can do some plantings.
Well, that's what I had thought about or whatever. So I'm going to meet with him Friday, 6:30, just to see. And we had the casino trip was very successful that we had Monday. It was a full bus.
Somebody win?
Yeah, I don't know if Tony knows
You won.
that some people won.
You want to, Tony?
No,
My
his,
one, yeah.
no, his wife
I didn't
did.
see any of that money,
A
but I
lot.
see what a lot.
Millie did.
Yeah.
And also the reminder of the town cleanup coming up in, what, 3 weeks? So, and that's it.
Yeah, I know that it was going around about the dog park, about the insurance company. The insurance company has referred back to us that there's no issue. It's covered under our policy. They were gonna send me, I haven't received it yet, they're gonna send me some information about dog park from the insurance company. And as soon as I get it, I'll forward it to everybody.
Okay.
There's no issue with it whatsoever. So, okay, Brandon, what do you got?
Yep. So, piggyback off the dog park, I believe I have a finalized version of these rules. I also worked with Debbie to what's it called? See if there were any revisions, and there were a few. But I'll be sending that out to the rest of the board. I would like to try to vote on that at the next meeting, so then we can ask her to donate some signs to us. And I've also asked her to, we'll I guess I'll probably work with Linda on that or somebody, but to try to get the same signs, or maybe Kristen, the same signs that we have for all the parks, the nice green ones that we got. So that is that. The senior tax exemption, similar to the firefighter and ambulance one that we just passed, I asked Scott to see if he can write up something that's like similar to, so the board can review it. I'd like to also move on that at the next board meeting or two. Same deal, 10%, or not 10%. It's a similar deal. There's a whole, yeah. So I asked Scott to kind of write it out for us in English. So he's going to get that back to us hopefully soon, so we can all review it and actually understand what we're talking about there. Because I'd like to try to. I know we talked about passing an exemption, and John said that we won't really know the results of what it'll do to the tax rolls until after it happens. After we pass it, but I still think. I don't think it's going to be that big of a shift, and I still think that we should pass the highest amount.
It's not gonna affect the tax.
Yeah. So I still think we should pass the highest amount because, as we all know, it's tough out there nowadays, especially with what's called limited incomes for seniors and all that. So that is that. Everybody should be receiving that in the near future. Michelle, did we possibly get anything in about the parts for the TV channel thing yet?
Yeah, he's out of town right now.
Oh, okay.
On a shoot, so he'll be ready to make his presentation at the next meeting.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's great.
We were
Wonderful.
working on some other ideas that I hope the board is excited about and will embrace also. So we'll do all that next week.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So last two things, the assembly redistricting resolution that we passed a while ago, I had brought to the board the fact that they were going to be redrawing the assembly maps because of lawsuits and such. And in the initial draft, Chester was split into two. So, we passed that resolution urging them not to do that. And I'm happy to report that they decided not to do that. Chester will be kept in the same district as of right now. Their final draft for it. There's going to be more lawsuits from the state, and so not because of us, but just because in general. What's it called? For now, the final draft from the redistricting committee has Chester in one district, which is just lovely. So that's very good. I'm very happy that happened. And then finally, more infrastructure road stuff. The Route 94 going towards Florida. Same deal as 17M. It's crap.
Even worse.
Yeah. And I had been speaking to some of our neighboring municipalities about, I felt like, it might not do anything, but I felt like, we should just try to send a joint letter from us, the Village of Chester, Village of Florida, Town of Warwick, and Town of Goshen, because those are all the affected communities, in the immediate affected communities. So I spoke to each of the, I spoke to the mayors, and I spoke to the two town supervisors, and they are all happy to sign a letter that we draft. So I wanted to work with Linda again. Me and her have been working on it as a team for a couple things now on drafting some sort of letter so we can try to see if we we can pass it as a board at the next meeting.
The letter should come from the host, the host municipality. whoever-
Florida?
So I think if that's in Florida or Goshen. I don't
It's
know if
it
that's-
so
As
it,
far as in Florida.
Goshen. It's technically Goshen property.
it's Goshen,
so to speak.
Village of Florida, Goshen?
No.
Or
So
just Goshen?
so most of it that stretch where everybody complains about, I looked on Google Maps. It's actually Goshen. It's at the very fringe of their town line. But obviously Florida is the most impacted thing. So obviously we're gonna send the draft to the rest of them and get their approval first before we finalize a copy where everybody approves and all that. So yeah, we'll be working as a team for all that, all the
I
municipalities.
wouldn't have a problem signing on with the community, but if it's not our town,
Yeah,
I
right.
don't think we should be the one that's submitting it.
Mhm.
We should
Yeah.
submit it from the host community, whoever owns it, and then we could sign on as a supporter.
Mhm.
So,
So I could talk to Joe Betro about that because it is technically Goshen property where everybody
sure they
complains
won't have a
about.
problem with that.
Yeah. No, he was very happy to be able to do that. So just wanted to bring that to your attention, and you'll be receiving something in an email soon enough about that as well.
Roy, do you have anything going on special over at the Bruderhof or no?
We're jonesing for cookies, man.
No? Okay, just checking. Okay. Also, Debbie over at TLC Grooming there, she wanted her sign guy to do the sign for
Mhm.
her, being that she's donating it. So I don't know how,
I will get her the.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll get her the specs, I guess,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the other signs that we did.
right, and see, if that's approved, if that's okay with her or,
Would that be best with Kristen, or who would have that?
Well, she's got somebody who'll do it for her. She's donating it. I guess
Yeah,
it'll
right.
be up to her.
No, I mean like where can we get her the information for the signs that we had kind of Kristen? Okay,
The
yeah.
ones by the,
Well, maybe she would want to be a little bit more
Thank you.
creative. I don't know, rather than just looking like a municipality sign. But anyway,
All right.
that's it for me.
So if that's it,
Is that a wrap?
unless I bring before the board, so I'd like to make a motion to close.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.